Good evening, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and call to order our meeting of the May 14th Board of Trustees. We all please stand for to recite the Pledge of Allegiance and take a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. All right, good evening, everyone. Would our clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Damstra.
Here.
Trustee Carter.
Here.
Trustee Hurwitz.
Here.
Trustee Prose absent. Treasurer Moran.
Here.
Clerk DeMarco here. Supervisor Korth.
Here. Thank you. Okay, we have an agenda in front of us tonight that has no changes planned or expected. So would someone move to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Support.
We have a motion by Trustee Hurwitz, supported by Trustee Damstra. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Okay, so we'll move on to the general township business, which is the approval of Township Board minutes for the regular meeting minutes of April 27th, the closed session meeting minutes for April 27th, and then we'll also receive and file various reports and communications, which include the Thornapple River Pedestrian Bridge meeting number 7 minutes from April 30th, the Covered Bridge Park Progress meeting number 17 minutes from April 21st, the Covered Bridge Park Progress meeting number 18 minutes from May 5th, and the Grand River Trail Improvements Pre-Construction meeting minutes from April 30th. If anyone has any questions or comments, now would be the time to bring it up. And if no one has anything, would someone move to approve the items?
I can motion to approve minutes and accept and file reports, communications under the consent agenda.
Support.
Okay, so we have the motion by Trustee Damstra, supported by Trustee Carter. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Okay, well, approval of our warrants is the next item. Township general warrants. Treasurer Moran, would you please present the warrants?
Thank you, Supervisor Korth. Good evening, everybody. Today, Thursday, May 14th, 2026, we have hand checks that total $754,002.09 and warrants that total $485,111.05 for a total of all hand checks and warrants of $1,239,113.14.
Anyone have any questions or comments on the warrant report that's presented to us in our packet? Would someone consider moving to approve the...
I move approval of the warrant report for Thursday, May 14th, 2026, in the amount of $1,239,113.14.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Trustee Hurwitz, supported by Trustee Carter. This is a roll call vote. DeMarco, will you please call the roll?
Supervisor Korth.
Aye.
Clerk DeMarco, aye. Treasurer Moran.
Aye.
Trustee Prose absent. Trustee Hurwitz.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Trustee Damstra.
Aye.
Great, thank you. The second item is to consider the Thornapple River Pedestrian Bridge change order number 1 for a total project cost of deduction of $21,400.17.
Thank you, Supervisor Korth. Ryan Aarons with Moore and Brugink, Township Engineer. Have before you change order number 1 for the Thornapple River Bridge pedestrian project. This change order is balancing 6 original contract items, 5 of which have some increased quantity based on as-built conditions, and then 1 item that is actually being reduced as it was not used. The timber boardwalk increased in quantity by 60 feet from the time we bid the project the project was bid in early September. The Eagle permit was not issued until November. There was some back and forth between us and Eagle. They required us to put in an additional 60 feet of boardwalk in lieu of fill in the floodplain. So that's what that increase is. The couple of other items like the backfill structure, the underdrain foundation, and the riprap heavy were just based on field adjustments. Some minor increases with those. And then the major deduction is the obstruction removal item was not used. That item was established for the caisson foundations to remove any obstructions that may have been encountered when those were drilled. Thankfully, we did not need to use those. So the change order, all said and done, is a negative $21,400.17. So a reduction in the contract amount by that amount. Any questions?
It's nice when change orders come in negative. So-
Yes, that is.
My only comment is we ought to hold off on this until Bob's here.
Okay.
I'll make sure I frame it for him.
Yeah, good.
Does anyone have any other comments or questions? Okay, would someone entertain a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve Thornapple River pedestrian bridge change order number 1 for a deduction of $21,400.17 from the project cost.
Second.
Thank you. Moved by Treasurer Moran, supported by Trustee Carter, to approve the change order. This is a roll call vote. Clerk DeMarco, please.
Supervisor Korth,
Aye.
Clerk DeMarco, aye. Treasurer Moran,
Aye.
Trustee Prose absent. Trustee Damstra,
Aye.
Trustee Carter,
Aye.
Trustee Hurwitz.
Aye.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, the next item is to consider the Conservation Boardwalk Improvement Project Pay Application Number 2 from Grand River Construction for an amount not to exceed $116,691.75. Ryan, thank you.
Yep, thank you Supervisor Korth. One minor correction on that, it should be Riverworks Construction. Riverworks Construction, there's a little bit of confusion there. They're doing the boardwalk on both projects, but they're a subcontractor to Grand River Construction on the Thornapple River Bridge project. So this pay recommendation number 2 for the Conservation Boardwalk project is for work completed during the month of April. And it's all boardwalk on here. They are nearing completion of the boardwalk. This pay recommendation is for 280 feet of the total 350 feet that they're constructing, so a portion of it. We have hit 50% of the contract amount, so retainage is basically ratcheted back to 5% of the overall contract amount at that point. With that being said, the pay recommendation results in $116,691.75 being recommended for payment to Riverworks Construction. And as I mentioned, they are nearing completion. They're finishing up the fencing and the railing on the boardwalk now. They should have that done early next week. They're removing their temporary mat road and doing restoration. I anticipate by the end of next week that project will be about buttoned up.
Great, thank you.
Ryan, is this like a as-built project as well? I guess I'm only asking just because of the materials. There was an invoice included from Riverworks Construction, and I was just trying to follow
Yeah,
the
so
invoice and then putting it on the
so this is a unit price project as well. We're
Okay.
tracking all the quantities. They're getting paid for actual as-built measured
Okay.
quantities, so.
Okay, thank you.
Someone like to move on this one?
Make a motion to approve Conservation Boardwalk Improvement Project Pay Application Number 2 to Riverworks Construction in the amount of $116,691.75.
Support.
Thank you. Moved by Trustee Hurwitz, supported by Trustee Damstra. This is a roll call vote. Clerk DeMarco, will you call the roll, please?
Treasurer Moran,
Aye.
Trustee Hurwitz,
Aye.
Trustee Carter,
Aye.
Trustee Damstra,
Aye.
Clerk DeMarco, aye. Supervisor Korth,
Aye. Aye, as well, thank you. Okay, we'll move on to 7D, which is to consider the Covered Bridge Park pay application number 7 from Caterburg Verhaeg in the amount of $114,871.19. Good evening, Sir Peter.
Good evening. Yep, so this is pay application for the month of April. As you mentioned, $114,000. Kind of splits into 5 big categories. Work on the grading on the south side, work on the restroom building, curb installation, aggregate base, and under drain. And as you can see, we're really starting to rapidly show signs of everything coming together. So this is really just the work that we accomplished after the flooding and getting stuff ready to go, and now we're full speed ahead. So any questions?
Yeah, the dry spell has really helped you guys, hasn't
It's
it?
very much helped, yeah. I'm almost amazed how many people they managed to fit on that little site. And they have, probably, there was like 20 people there this afternoon. It was impressive, so.
I drove past it tonight and saw that a lot of work had been done since the last time I was through there, so thank you for that.
Just one question. I did see in the notes or in your minutes that we still have individuals getting into the construction site. I think I read something where you're putting in bigger signs. Is that helping alleviate the problem, or do we need sheriff involvement, or?
Was that on the new or the old section?
It was in my packet. I
Okay.
read it, so.
I think that was left in there from the old business. We haven't had much at all at this point in time. The only people we've had kind of sneak in a little bit were those just trying to hop the fence to get down the bank to fish.
Okay.
No one's bothering the site at all. It's
Okay.
there's too much going on for people to try to sneak through, so,
Yeah.
yep.
Thank you.
No one has any other questions? Will someone move to approve this installment payment?
I'll move that we approve the Covered Bridge Park pay application number 7 from Caterburg Verhaeg in the amount of $114,871.19.
Support.
All right, thank you. Moved by trustee Carter, supported by treasurer Moran. This is another roll call vote. Clerk DeMarco, will you help us with the roll, please?
Supervisor Korth,
Aye.
Clerk DeMarco, aye. Treasurer Moran,
Aye.
Trustee Hurwitz,
Aye.
Trustee Carter,
Aye.
Trustee Damstra.
Aye.
All right, now this is the time for the first public comment session of the evening. Any members of the public, if you'd like to come up to speak to any topic, we welcome you at this time. If you'd state your name and address for the record, it would be appreciated. And bring up your comments, please.
Hi there. Good evening. Thank you for having me. I'm Gwen McCadden with Seaforth PR, not an Ada resident, so do need 2581 Scotch Pine Court in Cascade.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Beginning in early January, a group of community leaders began discussing ways to continue to support the township's work, specifically supporting work as pertains to the proposed new township hall, and ways to continue to engage residents as the planning continued. And some of them spoke with Supervisor Korth as of this past Friday, at which time we were asked to provide a proposal on what this work could look like. So the intent of this draft proposal, and I believe everyone has a copy, or does anyone need a copy of that?
Yeah, it got emailed, but I didn't print one off. It was in everyone's email.
Yeah,
anyone-
yeah, we do pass. If you've got copies, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the intent of the draft proposal is to focus on two-way resident engagement so that Ada may continue to maintain a positive relationship with residents, and also build some enthusiasm as the board helps move the community forward. So the proposal recognizes confirmed board action that pertain to project location, contractors, and timing, and while creating opportunities for residents to share input on potential need for more public access space within the building, how the building might make a statement in design, and then more importantly, to help increase awareness for the project and the timeline. So this effort would focus on additional opportunities for transparent, two-way communication with residents, and would be conducted quickly and efficiently so as not to impede any timelines. And the approach is really modeled after successful engagement strategies during Envision Ada, and also efforts tied to previous trails and parks initiatives. So it's truly rooted in meeting residents where they are, sort of touch points, creating approachable opportunities for conversation, natural intercepts at familiar locations and already existing events like Beers at the Bridge or the Ada Farmers Market, and familiar gathering places like the local parks and even the Amy Van Andel Library. So the proposal is designed to reach several hundred residents through stakeholder-focused events and pop-up engagement opportunities, and incorporate a digital tool for easy capture of feedback, and also utilizing Township's existing tools like the website, AdaView newsletter, and social sites. And so all of this work would be coordinated in conjunction with the Township manager to ensure that the process is constructive, organized, and aligned with the Township's goals. And specific discussion questions would be worked through with the Township staff to absolutely make certain we are on the same page with that. And so potential areas for that feedback could be public-facing or community spaces within or around the building, architectural character and design concepts, perhaps compared to other newer buildings in Ada, future and current future use of the current township space, and perhaps some other questions or engagement topics that the residents may want to ask of the township. So again, this is meant to be a flexible draft being operative here, flexible draft and budget. The timeline and specific activities can be adjusted to align with township timelines and priorities. And there may also be some opportunities for portions of this work to be acted upon, taken on by the township, or taken in-house internally to minimize costs. And essentially, we are just looking to help maintain strong resident engagement opportunities as this project moves forward.
Okay, thank you. We will have an opportunity, perhaps at our board member discussion point, to discuss this. I will make a point that our admin committee is meeting next week, which is comprised of Treasurer Moran and Clerk DeMarco and myself, along with Julius, and that we'd like to take the opportunity to take a deep dive on this at that time, allowing the board to get some more either support or guidance and refinement of this, so that we don't, tonight's not the exact appropriate place to do something like this, but that it would allow us then to have some direct feedback by the time we have our next board meeting. Right. So, okay. Thank you. Would anyone else from the public like to come up at this time for any other items they'd like to discuss at public comment? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and close the public comment and move on to the next agenda item. We have no unfinished business, and we do have a public hearing tonight, which is the public hearing on ordinance 0-051426-1, an ordinance to consider amendments to the Township Code of Ordinances to improve pedestrian safety by regulating right-of-way at specific crosswalks. And are you going to be our presenter?
So for this, we're just holding the public hearing, so you open the public hearing at a certain time, see if anyone in the public has any concerns or questions, comments, and then you close the public hearing, and then Director Austin will give his presentation during the new business portion as opposed to the public hearing.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, so at this point, I'm going to open another public hearing. This is specifically related to the draft ordinance that we're working on related to public safety. It's an outgrowth of a lot of work with Kent County Road Commission, and also our review of what our legal rights are with respect to trying to put safety mechanisms inside the township for pedestrian safety. So does any members of the public at this time would like to come up and speak to that topic?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Board. My name is Arthur Sturm. I live at 641 Green Slate Drive, right across the tracks here in Ada, and we are now a proud member of the DDA. I want to thank the Board and the Township for finally coming to address public safety. Some of you may remember me from years ago in another role when I presented research from our community that said 85% of our residents did not feel safe walking from River Point, the other side of the tracks, into downtown. We spent some time working with staff and became aware of all the challenges that there are with various other agencies in getting things done. But it looks like you made it. And I think you made it for one big reason, Kevin Austin. I really have to say that we were pretty discouraged that anything was going to get done. But Kevin rallied his staff, Mr. Said and others, and Julius, and said, you know what, safety is a pretty big issue. So here we see tonight that finally government is listening to the community and taking action. What a thrill. So thank you very much for doing this. Kevin, I look forward to getting the drawings on the signs tomorrow morning, and we can certainly go forward. But the other big issue, and Kevin, this is for you, I finally understand what my DDA taxes are going for, and I approve. Thank you very much.
You made my day.
You made mine, sir. Stay the course, and thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Would anyone else like to come up on this public safety topic? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and then move on to the first item of new business, which is the same ordinance 051426-1, which is the ordinance to consider the amendments to the Township Code of Ordinances to improve pedestrian safety by regulating right-of-way and specific crosswalks. Good evening, Mr.
Good evening. Good evening, Supervisor Korth, and to the rest of the board. I'll try to explain why our resident here, Art, is so excited about this. I'm very excited about this as well. Work that you guys set us about 6 months ago or more. So, like I said, for people that were not privy to the previous meeting where this was presented, I'll kind of hit a good synopsis of this, and then I'll open it up, obviously, to any questions from the Township Board on clarification or anything like that. So, like you mentioned, Supervisor Korth, this is the public hearing for a hearing that was held, or a meeting that was held April 27, where you all reviewed the ordinance and moved it to have this hearing for possibility for adoption. Prior to this, there was a lot of mobility from this township and from other partners towards the Kent County Road Commission to reevaluate some pedestrian crossing policy relative to their ordinances, also to the Michigan Vehicle Code, and also to the Uniform Traffic Code. And since that time, I believe a couple years ago, talking about rapid flashing beacons, there were multiple other communities that started to coalesce around this goal. Then the Grand Valley Metro Council, which we are a part of, convened a regional standardization group. So that was a part that Director Said had been a part of for a very long time. He got me connected with that group, and it was great to talk to other municipalities around the area that wanted to improve some of these aspects and some of the walkability, multimodality, pedestrian safety, traffic safety in their municipalities as well. So we were kind of coalescing around this at the same time, but we were kind of charging forward a little bit faster than some of the other communities, and as a township that was unique, as other communities were cities and villages and had a little bit more authority over their calls. So just to elaborate a little bit, the methodology and collaboration, like I said, regional coordination between 6 or 7 different municipalities, also traffic engineers, technical consultation with our traffic safety engineer, TJ Likens, who has been great to work with over the course of the past 6 months or so. Also, legal review, Township Legal Counsel has been a part of this from the very beginning. Law enforcement review. The Kent County Sheriff's Office has reviewed this ordinance and confirmed that there are no enforcement issues from their perspective, and they are ready to begin deliberate enforcement. And then also you can see there's some reference materials there: Michigan Vehicle Code, Uniform Traffic Code, manual on uniform traffic control devices, which is signage in different devices, and then a lot of comparison to multiple different communities: Ann Arbor, Grand Rapids, East Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, and Traverse City. So the ordinance obviously is focused on pedestrian crossings, but there are multiple different provisions in there that are necessary to establish a safer environment and to handle different issues that might arise with this ordinance. But it does also do an important thing, which is create another chapter, Chapter 64, inside of the Ada Township Code of Ordinances. That is a chapter that is meant to live from now until eternity with Ada Township, and it meant to be amended, meant to be added to as different issues come up that we want to solve with ordinances and that we can solve with ordinances. So this is just one of the first provisions inside of that chapter. But just as a little background, this ordinance specifically creates enhanced crosswalks, enhanced being a designating term to describe a crosswalk that is identified to both the driver and the pedestrian as being different, being having a different legal structure around it, being that pedestrians have the right of way when they are waiting at the curb to cross. If many of you might know, in current ordinances in many cities and in the state of Michigan, the pedestrian has to enter a crosswalk to gain the right of way from the vehicle. And I think a lot of people know how ridiculous that is because cars are engineered to protect everybody inside, and the pedestrian doesn't have that. So this does talk about, you can see in there, it talks about the definition of an enhanced crosswalk. We did add definitions for pedestrians to include many different aspects there, people using the crosswalk with different devices. And then looking at the implementation, so you guys are aware, draft language 64 TAC 3.3 is the key provision there. When traffic control signals are not in place or not in operation, the driver of a vehicle shall stop and yield the right of way to any pedestrian stopped at the approach to an enhanced crosswalk and any pedestrian within a crosswalk or enhanced crosswalk. And then the second provision does instruct the pedestrian that have certain responsibilities. We did create this distinction so that every crosswalk would not be an enhanced crosswalk. We have many trails here in Ada Township where visibility and speed is such that the road commission and even you guys as a township board said that you did not want that type of interaction there. You did not want that type of right-of-way given the frequency of some of the traffic versus pedestrians. So those will not be enhanced crosswalks. They will not be marked that way. We have already begun doing work to ensure that the trail users know that they are to stop at that crosswalk, not to proceed. I believe there was some correspondence there between Julius and our BFG director, Dennis Brinks. So you guys can see from this point on, we've designated enhanced crosswalks are ones that I would like to enhance. I have talked with the road commission as of last week about my intent to make those enhanced if this is adopted. 30 days after this, if this is adopted, it will go into action. And we will be able to place in-road signage at every crosswalk that I have indicated, which is basically every crosswalk in downtown that is unsignalized. They didn't indicate that there would be pushback on that. There's a couple other confirmations. But obviously, I will confirm with Township Manager Julie Succi, also with our BFG staff. It will be a lot of responsibility on us for that, for the acquisition and everything, and the DDA is prepared to support that. We did budget for that, for acquisition, maintenance, repair, things like that. So there is a little bit, obviously we talk about different types of enhancements a little bit on that fourth page, but the ordinance adoption process is listed there, steps from here on out, and I'll open it up to any questions for you guys. There's a recommended action there for you.
Just one quick question. I mean, I think one of the pieces that you talked about, you said the sheriff's department is ready to enforce. I think Realistically, though, we probably need a pretty robust information campaign
Yep.
before we go down that road. So, I mean, this will be a significant change. I have seen in the 5 years I have been here, more people stop now than before, but it is going to be a change. And so I just want to make sure we're using all of our tools to communicate. Maybe we can even put something up at some of these crosswalks to let pedestrians know that changes are coming in the future. Just whatever we can do to communicate so that we don't run into a situation where we just rip the Band-Aid off and start writing tickets.
Absolutely. I think that's something we've done. I think all the township staff has done a pretty good job in resubstantiating some of our communication networks over the past year with the website, with traffic on our Facebook pages, our 3 different Facebook pages, whether that's Farmers Market, also DDA, also Village, also Instagram. We'll use every tool that we have. We also have additional staff this summer that can help us out with content creation, things like that, for very informative items to try to get out in front of everybody. We're open to everything that we can do with our capacity to make sure that they are educated, people are educated, drivers are educated, but visibility is going to be a big thing, but education is critical, obviously.
I know you might want to talk to Metro Council too. I know we had spoken to them before about the potential for the regional piece moving forward. They had talked about kind of a regional initiative for communication, and if we're going to be the first township moving forward, other townships are going to be following, and so it might be worthwhile to see if there's any funding through transportation dollars from the Metro Council.
Communication specifically?
Yeah.
Please. Yeah.
Kevin, I have a question as well.
Mm-hmm.
When you're finished writing.
Yep.
Please don't hate me for asking this, but when you reference bicycles, does
Mm-hmm.
that also include electric bikes, scooters, hoverboards, all those kind of?
Yeah, so when somebody utilizes a bicycle inside of a crosswalk, they become a pedestrian.
Okay.
The Michigan law, up to this point, with case law that has happened so far, they do not consider a pedestrian is somebody afoot or utilizing a mobility device. We have that in there as a definition. A mobility device is typically in case law defined as a tool that somebody who has a disability is utilizing. They talk about mobility, like scooters and things like that, and they actually differentiate between electric scooters for kind of recreational use and things like that, and try to keep it on disabilities, people with disabilities who are utilizing those aids. But somebody with a bicycle that is operating inside of the crosswalk has the legal protection under this ordinance as a pedestrian. But yes, what you're alluding to, it is a very prominent thing right now, and something very much as a priority to address some of the we're going to say e-bike, but as we've learned, they are not technically under an e-bike designation according to certain agencies.
That's why I asked, because there's a little, I'm working with other clerks on signage and, notifications to residents and whatnot, and there are some differences, so I just thought of that when I was reading this, and well done, by the way, thank you. Just came to my mind, to make sure that that's all incorporated. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely.
And one item, just to follow up on that, Clerk DeMarco. So we've had a lot of conversation internally about e-bikes and what that means. And I've had a number of conversations with residents too. We've actually started looking at some of the ordinances that have come out of Ludington and other communities to try to regulate e-bikes on trails and sidewalks. And so I think that's something that in the future could be coming. And identifying what that means, whether a bike has pedals or no pedals. And the idea of darting in front of traffic, I think this ordinance specifically talks about the pedestrian not jumping out or not, and right now there are individuals on e-bikes who will just cross quickly, which could, be in contradiction of that component. But I do think it is something that we will continue to discuss, and not necessarily part of this piece, but maybe a second ordinance coming in the future.
Thank you.
We actually had in our own community, Tom Mulligan of Pedigo Bikes. He reached out after a business roundtable morning meeting that we had with the ABA and Discover to talk with the local businesses, and he offered his knowledge and his services in addressing that, because he does know in the trade the classifications, certain classifications between what they sell as e-bikes and what some of these other options that people are buying and that they're utilizing are. So definitely intend on utilizing him to gain that knowledge before we approach it, and then obviously with the sheriff's office as well for what currently might be out there right now on what's regulating our roads.
Thank you.
Kevin, one question I had, and it relates to citation enforcing. Do we have an idea, like the cost, if somebody were to be cited for a violation of our ordinance?
So it would be, so because this ordinance does ascribe a civil infraction to every violation, it would be on the sheriff at that time and under his discretion to actually cite that person. And then following that citation, I don't know what the actual penalty is, if it accrues before there is a penalty. But I can definitely get that with you when I talk to Officer Jackson and get some more information on that.
But it would be likely be similar to, you know, turning right on a no turn on red or whatever kind of infraction, right?
I believe so. I mean, many of them have civil infraction. There was an option under, UTC treats that similarly, Uniform Traffic Code. There was options to make them misdemeanors, and that obviously is, not really a road we want to go down right now. But it was our legal counsel's recommendation and also some recommendation from the regional group for making it civil infractions and go that route.
The other question I had was, is the draft that we were seeing tonight identical to the one we saw on April 27th?
With the revisions that we talked about from, if you remember, I said there was a Kent County Road Commission revision that was sent in right before a meeting that talked about rectangular rapid flashing beacons being included in the equipment that designates an enhanced crosswalk. And we've since had conversations about kind of moving forward with that and what the structure around deployment of that kind of an item is. But yes, that was added to the definition, and this draft has been changed with that change.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any other questions or comments?
The only other comment I'd make, Kevin, is thank you to you, thank you to Director Said. I mean, this has been an issue. I know shortly after I started, we started pushing back on the Road Commission for their perspective on the issue, and I appreciate you being able to take it over the finish line and give it the time and the priority that it deserved.
Yeah, thank you. And I'd like to give some credit also to TJ Likens from the Road Commission and some of his colleagues that were open to the more intense dialogue on this and reevaluating some of those things with many other communities, so it's good to see.
I had an opportunity on Monday at the supervisors' monthly luncheon to basically say what you just said. I didn't recall like Mr. Lakin's name, but Jerry Byrne was at the meeting, and Jerry Byrne's the head of the Road Commission, so that I thought it was particularly useful because it's been a really long 25 or 30 years working on this. So to see tonight that this might be one of the most important votes that I've ever been involved with in Ada tonight, so I'm very excited about it. So. That said, we do have some motion language here that's included. I think it's pretty simple, actually. It's just a motion to adopt the proposed resolution, ordinance 0511426-1, an ordinance to enact a new Chapter 64 entitled Traffic and Vehicles to the Ada Township Code of Ordinances. So with that said, would someone entertain the motion?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Moved by Trustee Hurwitz, supported by Trustee Carter.
I would do a roll call for this. I did. There wasn't a note there, but I just realized that.
So with that said, would our Clerk DeMarco please call the roll?
Supervisor Korth,
Aye.
Clerk DeMarco, aye. Treasurer Moran,
Aye.
Trustee Hurwitz,
Aye.
Trustee Carter,
Aye.
Trustee Damstra.
Aye.
Fantastic. Really, really exciting. Anyway, thank you, everybody. All right, let's move on to the next item, which is the consider the work order for Kent County Road Commission for the recycled asphalt product, known as RAP, R-A-P, application to 3 Mile Road from Egypt Valley Avenue to 1,000 feet east of Pettis Avenue for an amount not to exceed $70,000, with Ada Township contributing $31,500, which is 55% of the total project cost. doesn't go the full distance because the last 1,000 feet is already paved.
Yeah, sorry, that should say 38,500, not 31. The numbers got.
Oh, 38.
Yeah, 38's our portion.
Yeah, 35.
Kent County Road Commission is the
Yeah.
31.
Okay,
Yep.
38,500 is our portion. Do you want to speak to this?
Yeah, thank you Supervisor Korth. So this is following up on a number of conversations we've had with the residents on 3 Mile Road as well as with the Kent County Road Commission. Any engineering work that's taking place right now, the actual improvements wouldn't potentially take place till 2027. And so there is an ability to move forward with the RAP treatment similar to what we did on 2 Mile Road, which could have an immediate impact for the surface and condition of the road for this year.
Okay, thank you. I'm really pleased at how nimbly we've moved through this issue too. This has been a whole winter project of ours, and to see us getting this stretch of road improved shortly. When do you expect that to be, timing-wise, any idea?
I would anticipate probably mid-June by the latest.
Well,
But once we have a firm date, we can let residents know.
Okay, that would be very nice too. And in fact, Julius did a wonderful job sending a letter to everyone on 3 Mile Road about what we're working on, trying to both maintain the natural beauty road status and at the same time get roads that people are comfortable driving on and being safe on. So that's another area we're making a lot of progress working with the Road Commission. So it's just wonderful.
I'd say almost everybody on 3 Mile.
I was looking at you, Dan.
Well, that's, your mail's coming by donkey.
It would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Kent County Road Commission work order to perform RAP application to 3 Mile Road from Pettis Avenue to Egypt Valley Avenue with the township funding an amount not to exceed $38,500 or 55% of the total $70,000 project cost.
Second.
So moved by Treasurer Moran, supported by Trustee Carter. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That motion carries unanimously. The next item is Resolution R051426-1, a resolution for consideration and possible approval of a land swap agreement between Ada Township and 820 Egypt Valley LLC.
Thank you Supervisor Korth. I did provide an updated resolution as well as a land swap agreement. There was a minor change for item D, which talked about what the potential property that the township is receiving could be used for. And the other component in the land swap agreement was related to the environmentals of sharing those materials between the two entities. And other than that, this is all the details of the agreement are the same as previous. We would receive the property, 13.80 acre portion of real property, 820 Egypt Valley, and we would swap the 12.53 acre parcel located at 1100 Pettis Avenue.
Okay. I think a lot of us had the opportunity to walk that property in the last 2 weeks. For the people in the public that don't know about this, Ada Township ended up with 12 plus acres through a foreclosure on Pettis Avenue. That was a damaged piece of property that has some issues related to contamination. It's left over from the Edie Pettis era and mining, and then also she was just using it as a way for people to get rid of material, basically. So we had that property, but we were approached by this entity, 820 Pettis LLC, and asked us if we would consider a larger piece of property slightly down the road from the parcel on Pettis. And the reason that both these parcels were interesting to the township is that the township has identified as we've grown and developed that a piece of land along Pettis, strategically located where the new bridge that will be connecting Chief Hazy Cloud Park to Roselle Park, of which our own Buildings and Grounds Department's vehicles could traverse. would be strategic for us in terms of maintaining the properties and the land and the trails and everything that we're doing across the township. So the land is important to us. In any event, this opportunity is really good because it accomplishes a couple of really neat things. One, it's more land than we have currently, but it gets rid of the contamination issue altogether. And having walked it, it's a lovely piece of flat property. The section that's near any residential is heavily wooded with a nice meadow. There was even conversations about one portion of it, which is similar in size to the Finley Cemetery site, could be a placeholder for a third cemetery in the township if we needed it. And that's been on our mind a little bit because the cost of land is very expensive in Ada, and so consequently, to be able to kind of kill that bird with this stone is a neat opportunity. In any event, so we've been working through all this, and I think the consensus of the board through our deliberations over the last few months has been increasingly positive as we work through the opportunity. So that's the background for anybody in the audience who didn't know. Anyone have any other questions or comments about the actual agreement?
Need a motion to approve this resolution?
Yes.
All right.
And then a roll call vote too.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution R dash 051426-1, resolution for the consideration and possible approval of a land swap agreement between Ada Township and 820 Egypt Valley LLC.
Support.
So we have the motion by Trustee Carter, supported by Trustee Hurwitz. Would our clerk please call the roll?
Yes, Supervisor Korth,
Aye.
Clerk DeMarco, aye. Treasurer Moran,
Aye.
Trustee Hurwitz,
Aye.
Trustee Carter,
Aye.
Trustee Damstra.
Aye.
All right, great, thank you very much. All right, so we're going to move on to our department reports. The first report is Township Manager. Julius, would you want anything else specific to go over on your report?
Yeah, just a couple items. First would be the Thornapple River pedestrian bridge. If you go out there, there's been quite a bit of progress on the actual bridge. Timing-wise, we're waiting to hear from Grand River Construction on the final placement date of the bridge. So what will happen is we will be notified when the bridge is available for pickup and placement. Originally, they'd identified either May 29th and 30th or June 5th and 6th. I don't know if we're going to make that May 29th, 30th date just due to us not having received notice yet. June 5, 6 is difficult because that is the Grand Rapids Triathlon. And the closure would be a full closure of the Thornapple River Bridge from Friday evening until Saturday early evening. And the other date that was thrown out was the first night of beers at the bridge. And so we're not doing that one either. So we are again shooting for May 29th, 30th, but if not, we'll have to adjust. Realistically, if we get the bridge in place on May 29th, 30th, we would be able to be using that bridge by potentially that first beers of the bridge with restoration and other components complete. And so it's pretty exciting to see that come together, but I'll continue to keep the board updated on that. Grand River Trail construction, they actually paved the top coat today, and so they're paving the top coat. Kent County Road Commission is going to be coming in and doing the road, and so it's a little bit unique. We're using one contractor for the trail. They're using one for Grand River from Carl all the way up to Knapp. And then the road commission contractor is actually going to be the one that is doing the final leveling and top coat of the driveway approaches, because when they do a crush and shape on the road, they're actually going to raise the road on Grand River. And so there is some concern with drainage from properties or from the roadway into driveways. And so allowing the road commission to utilize that top coat as an ability to shift a little bit will allow us to eliminate some of those concerns. So the road commission has been a really, really good partner with us on that component as well. So happy to answer any questions on anything else that I have in my report, if the board has them.
The Grand River Trail replacement you said the base coat was started today?
Base coat's complete for a portion of it,
Right.
not all of it. Yeah, so up front, started at Knapp and then it's heading south.
Right.
I don't know that yet it's made it to Roselle. Wesley, it has not made it to Roselle. We had asked if it was going to be completed in one day. They said no. We had hoped they'd make it to Roselle, but obviously, you know, their concern is to get it right and do it right rather than just kind of rush it.
It wasn't paved
Yeah.
there, that's why I was making sure, so.
Yep. I do know it was paved further than that because contractors ended up hitting a mailbox that we ended up getting a call on and pictures and video, so I do know a portion of it is paved. Oh, only other update, and I should have brought this up. If you're around Memorial Day, please come out to Covered Bridge Park North. So we are going to be doing a Veterans Memorial, or the Veterans Monument dedication. And so as part of Covered Bridge Park North and the Covered Bridge Park project, we are going to have a Veterans Memorial. Kristen Wilds from the Ada History Center has been instrumental, as well as Brett Talbot from Osmer Post 451. He had shared some of the imagery previously, kind of telling the story of conflicts throughout our country's history, as well as the history of Ada. And so it's really, really neat. It's tying into the 250th anniversary. And so we are going to be holding an event at 1 o'clock out there. We're going to have Brett Talbot out there. We're going to have Brad Anderson, who is instrumental as well in some of the messaging. And so it's going to be a really nice event. Hopefully the weather holds out. Right now it looks like it's 86 and storming. But hopefully that changes before that date. But yeah, I mean, anyone who wants to come and attend, there will be a little treat or surprise if you attend that you'll be able to get. I can't give it away because that would ruin the fun. But it's definitely worth attending, seeing this really important moment in Ada's history. I remember when I first started, Kristen Wilds from the History Center had come to me and she said, "Julius, where are we going to put the Veterans Memorial?" She said, let's put it in Legacy Park, or let's put it here, or let's put it here. And I said, well, hold on, Kristen. I said, let's wait. Let's just pause for a second and let's try to be really intentional about it instead of just sticking it somewhere, because we want to make sure that it lasts. And so we're really lucky. Thank you to the donors as part of the Connecting Community campaign that we were able to make this such a centerpiece of that Covered Bridge Park North, which is really cool for the community.
Do you know the time on Memorial Day?
It's 1 o'clock, correct, Kevin and Wesley?
Correct, yes, sir. 1 o'clock.
1 p.m. Okay, 1 p.m.
Roughly about 1 hour, just less than an hour.
Okay. Anyone have any other questions for Julius on his report? All right, then we also have all of our other department reports. So Kevin, do you have anything else other that you want about DDA specific?
I don't believe so, just a comment I see on the crosswalk there. That was a conversation I also had more specifically to the crosswalks in the DDA about the waterborne paint that they use for the crosswalks. Part of the road commission's acknowledgement of enhancing visibility at crosswalks is the different methods that they use for painting them. Continental is piano key. Then there is the ladder, which is the piano key with the boundary. Then they also have the parallel lines. So they did also agree, it might not fit into the schedule this year, but we have that on the annual schedule. If you guys have seen, a lot of them are faded down here in the DDA as well. They use waterborne paint. It is more cost effective, I believe, and there are some other reasons why they do that versus some of the other methods. But they also agreed to change the actual line pattern for many of the crosswalks, almost all the crosswalks, up to the more enhanced type, i.e. this awkward one at Godwin, at Thornapple and Ada Drive on that cant that happens. They're two parallel lines, and he said that we can change that to a ladder pattern, including the in-road signage. So if there are potential changes for enhancing them, they might be stuck to a 35 mile per hour or less environment for some of those changes, but I did talk with him about the annual schedule for repainting the crosswalks. So we are on that schedule. He did not give a time frame, but it was a similar time last year, I believe, where we were saying, what the heck, and then it was happening. So I do have a contact there if we need it.
would you like to?
Just a quick comment. Good to see everybody. Wesley Deason, Director of Parks and Recreation. Just a quick note, digital materials for the PLRP millage campaign and proposal are now public. We've been working with Seaforth on this, as you're all aware. The website is now updated. It's been up for about a week and a half. They created a great FAQ section on our millage page with lots of just good questions to go through and a wonderful resource. So you'll also see this in the Ada View, which I think is supposed to hit mailboxes Friday of this week, if I'm not mistaken. And then tomorrow I'll begin working with Seaforth on some videos and other things. They're going to be recording me through the parks and some of our staff beginning tomorrow, and we're going to roll out a social media campaign. And so they've kind of laid out the dates and the times we need to post and walking us through that process. So we expect to get lots of questions coming up, especially as this gets, Ada View is obviously the most direct way we connect with the community. So just want to provide that update. So thank you.
Right, thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. John Sett, Director of Planning. Very short comments concerning staffing in the Planning Department. Tomorrow will be the last day for our Administrative Assistant, Elaine Buckley. It's a bittersweet time, if you will, because she's retiring, well-earned, well-deserved retirement. So we applaud that. We will definitely miss Elaine if any of you get a chance to stop over. She's going to be leaving a little early, understandably, on her last day. She'll probably be leaving around 3 o'clock, but if any of you have a chance to stop by or reach out to Elaine, I'm sure that would be appreciated. And as we all know, transition is a permanent thing. So with Elaine's departure, we are bringing on a new individual. I think I can mention her name publicly. Madeline Russo will be starting with us next Wednesday. I believe that's the 20th. And I have to give thanks to Julius, to our planner, zoning administrator Brent Badak, to Deputy Clerk Aaron McIntosh, because the four of us basically were kind of the review and interview team for all of the candidates that we had. We probably had about 30 candidates roughly that submitted applications for the administrative assistant position, and we narrowed that down to about 4 or 5 individuals that we interviewed, and we found that Ms. Russo was, we believe, the most qualified. She does have municipal experience as well as experience in law and in title work. So even though this is an administrative position responsible for administrative duties, there will be a more of a level of insight, a deeper insight there on her part coming in. So again, but the primary reason was just to recognize and thank Elaine Buckley for her years of service to this community and for a great career. Thank you very much.
Any other team leaders want to come up? Okay. All right, seeing none. And does anyone have any questions for anyone specifically that hasn't spoken? Okay. All right, so now we're moving on to board member comment. Would any members of the board have something they'd like to talk about that we haven't spoken about?
Just congratulations to Elaine. And I know we had a going away retirement party for her, but I believe she's been here as long as I've been here, and I'll certainly miss her. She brought a lot to the table in her own unique way, so she'll be missed.
On that note, I'll say we are undergoing a little bit of transition as well. Our former administrative assistant, Sydney Boyles, decided to move out to the West Coast and be with family there. So we are undergoing the same process as Director said has been going through, and I will be making my decision after conducting several interviews this past week and the week before. I'm pretty sure I have my plan in place, and I'll roll that out on Monday.
Thank you. Okay, so what I'd like to, we have a closed session scheduled for this meeting, so I'd like to ask the board if we can go ahead and move our opportunity for additional public comment up to now, allowing that to occur, and then after that happens and we close it, we will go into a closed session, which we will then ask the audience to go home for the evening so that we can talk privately. So at this point, would anyone else from the members of the public like to come up to discuss any other topics? Okay, seeing no one come up, I'm going to go ahead and close that public comment and ask our board to move into a closed session.
To consider written legal opinion.
Yep. To consider written legal opinion pursuant to MCL 15.268, Section 8(1)H of the Michigan Open Meetings Act, and it is a roll call vote.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion by trustee Hurwitz, supported by trustee Carter. Clerk DeMarco, will you please call the roll?
Supervisor Korth,
Aye.
Clerk DeMarco, aye. Trustee Damstra,
Aye.
Trustee Hurwitz.
Aye.
Trustee Carter.
Aye.
Treasurer Moran.
Aye.
All right, thank you. So at this point, we are in closed session. We ask everyone if they would please go home for the evening, and thank you for coming to the meeting tonight.